This is Cassius Tryptamine Astrology Readings. Okay, so we have some things going on this weekend, the weekend of February, 19th, 20th, 21st. They all point to some kind of realization, some kind of conclusions to be drawn, some kind of intuition, some kind of Piscean vision, maybe some kind of entheogenic or psychedelic realization, if you will. Some kind of realization, some kind of pouring of thoughts will probably occur. So, one thing that few have noticed, and I just noticed about this weekend, is the fact that the Sun is actually exactly semi-square Uranus and Pluto. After, Uranus and Pluto are squaring harder than they will square right now, harder than, they will for another 85 years. This Uranus square Pluto is the most important aspect of this whole decade. It last happened in the 1930s, and it's something to do with an ideological purging, a Uranus ideological purging Pluto. It's a hard ideological purging themed in fiery Aries and rigid structured Capricorn. The whole Mercury retrograde that had Mercury right there get stuck on Pluto squaring Uranus, and then Venus came and conjoined Pluto and squared Uranus, that was this purging. It was this ideological purging. It was this whole thing last month. And surprise, surprise, we have another emphasis of that. Sun semi-square Uranus and Pluto. These semi-squares and semisextiles and all that type of stuff is the key to understanding what is being emphasized more than once in the sky. That's how you really decipher the sky. You decipher, what is being emphasized multiple times. Last month, it was Pluto and its sign Scorpio being emphasized over and over. It was Capricorn and its planet Saturn being emphasized over and over. Just bombardment with Mars and Scorpio aspects, Saturn aspects, right? So in addition to this, Sun, semi-square, Pluto, and Uranus will be full effect this weekend. At 1 degrees, which is Saturday, this is the chart for Saturday, it will be exactly semi-square Pluto. Some kind of purging, deep realization could occur, which it's a Pluto type of realization, but the realization thing, it comes in different genres and types of ways, types of realizations. You can have a Neptunian, Piscean, deep spiritual, overarching appreciation for life, psychedelic type of epiphany, or you could have like a Uranian ideological, just a straightforward thought process that could be an epiphany, an electric type one, as opposed to a spiritual type Neptunian thing, you learn. But Pluto is more like something that knocks down the doors so that you can receive Uranus or Neptune. Pluto knocks down the doors. So we have Saturn semi-sextile Pluto. Saturn is being imbued with this transformative, purging, all cleansing, all purifying, and explosive Pluto energy. And Pluto is obviously in its own sign, or Pluto is in Saturn's sign of Capricorn. So Pluto, or Saturn semi-sextile Pluto, is all about a deep, rigid, hardened, disciplined Capricorn Saturn path towards purification. Pluto. I can feel it. That's what it is. It's a lot of emphasis on Saturn and Capricorn. It's Saturn making a semi-sextile to a planet in its own sign. So it's a disciplined journey of purification. A disciplined journey of purification is Saturn semi-sextile Pluto. That's what Saturn-Pluto aspects tend to do, especially in a sextile or semi-sextile. I think that's what started to happen when Saturn sextiled Pluto and trined Neptune back in 2012, and then and after that little purification at the end of 2012, came the 2013 Uranus and Aries sextile Jupiter in Gemini, and then that made it this yod to Saturn in Scorpio. And there was a purification at the end of 2012, and there was this idea flow that just poured in so hard in 2013. Saturn, Pluto, that is a disciplined, hardened journey, like a psychedelic journey towards stripping yourself of everything that's unnecessary, Pluto, very Pluto, to find something greater, Saturn. A purification process through discipline and stuff like that. That's what that is. And, well, I think that is being emphasized right now by Pluto. Uranus square Pluto is a similar thing. That's like Saturn semisextile Pluto is like, well, first of all, it's starting to hit my sun. My sun is at 15 degrees Aquarius, and Saturn is sextiling my sun exactly right now. And I've been having this urge to work out more lately and exercise and just go on this Saturnian disciplined route of self-betterment and purification. So I can really feel it. Along with that disciplined process of self-purification that will be emphasized every time something touches the Pluto and Saturn semisextile, and the ideological fiery purging of unnecessary beliefs and restructuring of beliefs. That's what Uranus square Pluto is about. Restructuring of beliefs, purification, Pluto, of beliefs and ideologies and ideological ego, which is Uranus. Purification of ideologies, that's a real truther aspect. That's what was around in the 1930s. Martin Luther King was born with Uranus square Pluto, almost. His peers were born with Uranus square Pluto, but King had Uranus and Aries. The last time Uranus was in Aries, 84 years ago. Right there, that's where Martin Luther King's Uranus was. So this weekend, on top of all that disciplined purification of ourselves and this ideological purification and purging of unnecessary whatever, well, the purification of our ideologies and stripping of everything that is unnecessary in our being is emphasized right now by the Sun, semi-square both. And it's in the divine, spiritual final sign of Pisces. So it'll be a very spiritual, very sacred feeling purification process. It's a perfect time to take an entheogen, a psychedelic. So, also with Mercury and Venus now deep into Aquarius, we'll be very inspired to think and to learn and to purify our ideologies. You know, Aquarius is the sign of Uranus, of course. So this purification of ideologies, this searching for deeper knowledge, be it just traditional knowledge and scientist type knowledge, Aquarius, or spiritual type knowledge, Pisces. The spiritual type of way of thinking, the enlightenment energy type stuff, will be majorly emphasized, of course, like I was talking about before, with Ceres conjunct Neptune in its own sign of Pisces, semi-sextile Mercury and then Venus. So we'll have an opportunity to channel this kind of divine energy into our collective mental spaces, and even have a social thing going on with that, with Venus, you know. So it's time to tap into something. It's time to think. This weekend, it's a great time to reflect and don't do work this time. The time to do work was last month. It's now time to reflect on what we've done, think, purify, think. Much love, peace.